Hello, my loves. Welcome or welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist, and today, in this timeless reading, we are getting messages from your younger self. There is no age range or set goal of what age, what part of your younger self it is that we're receiving messages from. But this was an inspiration. The cards came first and the purpose of the reading came second. This was an inspiration that came through during the full moon in Sagittarius. I just felt this overwhelming sense of wondering, what would my younger self say to me right now, today, if I could sit down with her? And that was what Spirit really wanted me to talk about with you guys. So there are 4 piles. Each one is signified by a different animal and a different crystal. I want you to take some time and look over each of the piles. If you feel drawn to more than one, please go and check out the ones that you are drawn to. Remember, this is a timeless reading, but it is also a collective reading. So that means that this is for a large group of people, and not all the messages are meant for everyone. So please only take what resonates. Leave the rest for who it belongs to, so that you don't take what you don't need to be carrying. Only take what is yours, please. So on the first pile, we have the heron and the green aventurine. On the second pile, we have the cow with the Super 7 crystal. On pile 3, we have the bear along with the red jasper. And on the 4th pile, we have the bat along with the blue and white sodalite stone. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time. We'll put some music on and you guys really get in touch with the cards. Let yourself be led, and I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the first card, the first pile, the first stone, the green aventurine, this is all about your heart. This is about loving yourself first and foremost. So with the heron, you have the word stillness and the sign of Aquarius. As I was getting ready for this pile, getting in touch with the energies of this pile, one of the big things that came through was about the reflective nature of the heron on the card. You know, when a bird stands next to water, its reflection shows back at it, but its reflection is kind of like the reverse, the opposite. What I picked up, one of the biggest things from your younger self, is this sense of growing up in a house or in a family or in a situation this could even apply to friendships at school, or, if some of you were in sports, I'm seeing basketball, soccer, cheerleading, football. There's a lot of variety of different scenarios. And like I said, take what resonates. But what I'm seeing is there were situations in which you felt as though no one really saw the truest person that you are. And that's who you are now. You've really done a lot of work to be seen in the world, not as some other version of yourself, not as some reflective part of who you are, but as your true self, separate from whoever it was when you were a kid. The other thing that I got was there is this essence of comparison, but not necessarily from you. What I'm getting more along the lines of, some of you may have dealt with parents who compared you continually to siblings, to themselves at a younger age, as though you couldn't ever live up to this or that. But that is also something that I picked up that is very, very strongly your perception of it, and not necessarily what the purpose from your parents were. The other one that I picked up, I did pick up a lot of scenarios with this one card before we actually get into the meaning. I want to make sure that any possibility is covered that I am pulling in, because they are so specific. Another one that I picked up very, very strongly has to do with twins. If you were or are a twin, first of all, if you were, I apologize if my phrasing was upsetting. It was unintentional. I do want you to know, and this is a disclosure that I am comfortable making, but I was a twin, and I lost my twin brother before I was born. However, if you grew up with a twin, regardless of whether you were the same gender, whether you were identical, or whether you were fraternal twins, even if you, I just heard triplets, even if you were in, a group of multiples, there's this essence of you always wanting to be like them and not knowing how to embrace your own individuality. Oftentimes you can see a lot of people will group. It just becomes like this automatic thing. You think about, for some reason, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are popping into my head. So you think about Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Those two end up being grouped together quite often, as though they are one unit, but they are really actually two separate people with two separate personalities, two separate passions. They may share certain things, certain thought processes, certain passions in the world, certain loves of this, that, or the other thing, and they definitely share similar experiences, but they are not the same person. And that's something that your younger self really wants to come forward and say thank you to you, because you've learned how to really get in touch with your own unique individual nature, your personality, the person that you are outside of the realm of how the world is reflecting back to you, how others are projecting onto you, what other people have said, but especially what you have gone through as a kid. There was a lot of the energy coming through is like early teens, almost like preteen, early teens, up to the age of 14 or 15. That is the essence of the younger self that wants to come forward and talk, because it was almost as though from the age of 14 to 2021, for most of you, some of you haven't quite gotten there yet, but you can take this as it resonates. Between those ages, what I am picking up really strongly is this sense of growing into a different person. And now that you have done that, for the vast majority of you, now that you have done that, you're sitting here going, what would I say to my younger self? But this is more about your younger self saying, I see all of the work that you've done. I see all of the effort that you've put forth. And now this is your time to just kind of slow down and understand and see the truth of who you are now reflected back to you in the world. So what we're going to get into here, we're going to talk a little bit about this card, this stillness, the essence of the heron card. So when a heron is hunting, it is trying to, they are fishing birds, so they go after the fish in lakes and whatnot. When they do that, they have to stand very still. But this card is actually talking about psychological rest. Going through what you went through as a kid, listening to people tell you you're not as good as this, or why can't you be like this? Why can't, this is how I was, why can't you? All of those things, it can create this kind of snowball effect of mental anguish, mental stress, mental strain, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of constant negative self-talk of, well, you have to do it this way. And it actually feeds and fuels a sense of needing to be perfect. And it's more of a toxic perfectionism. So what this card is actually talking about, and the biggest message that I'm getting from your younger self, is you have come to the place where you don't do that anymore. And if you allow yourself this momentary pause, this moment to just stand still and to really reflect on where you've been, where you've come from, and where you are now, this dawning realization that you just genuinely, you're not the person that you were before, but you are the person you have always been, will help come in for you. There's this essence of, you don't see yourself because you don't give yourself the time to look. You don't give yourself the break to view the truth of everything, because there's almost this essence of, I have to keep going, I have to keep going, I have to keep going, because you're afraid that if you stop, if you pause, if you wait, that the progress that you've made will be undone. And that's not the case. You have made such amazing progress on your own mental state, on your own belief in who you are, but also on the truth of who you are here in the world, who you're meant to be in the world, and how the world is going to receive you as your truest self. And I know in the spiritual community, give me just a moment. In the spiritual community, we talk about authenticity. This is deeper than just your authentic self. This is like a soul deep awakening, a rising of your soul that you have been going through, which has healed your mind, healed your body, healed your heart, all together. And it has, what I am picking up is, it's been like this dog-eat-dog battle where you have to just keep going and going and going and going. But that's not the case anymore. You're shifting now into a time where your younger self wants you to know that it's okay for you to slow down. It's okay for you to rest, because you see your truest self now, and the world is going to see your truest self now. All right, so let's get some messages here. We're going to use this deck for messages from your younger self. Any further information? Okay. And then we'll actually pull the back of the deck energy for the centerpiece here. All right. So first we have the King of Swords. Yeah, and you've got the Phoenix here on this King of Swords, and we'll get into it in just a minute. And then we've got the Ten of Coins. Okay. And the back of the deck energy is the Four of Wands. I love this. This all really boils down to what you tell yourself. And what I'm seeing here is there's somebody who's been really, really harsh with you. And it's not even just the person has been so harsh, but your own mind has been just brutal, just absolutely brutal to you. And that's the most dominant energy that I pick up from this pile, is this sense of like, I almost want to flip the King of Swords upside down, because when the King of Swords is upside down, there's no more clarity, there's no more conciseness. It's almost like it's a cruel energy. You use words as weapons. But what you learned is how to take words. Oh, and you know what? This isn't a phoenix. It's a griffin. However, I am picking up phoenix vibes, so we'll get into that in just a minute. But you have learned how to take words that used to feel as though they were weapons. They used to feel as though they were, you know, being used against you, being used to harm you, and that's not just other people's words. I just keep getting this overwhelming sense that it's the words inside your own head. It's almost like you used to see words as this, I keep hearing it's a trap, it's a trap. Yeah, as though they were this mental trap, this mental prison that you were stuck in and you couldn't get yourself out. But you really have. And the reason why you have struggled so much in your life to feel as though you're worthy of this 10 of coins, and some of you may have your own sense of self-worth in your mental space has really broken things down. Part of it is this belief that you are so different than everybody else that no one is going to love you and no one will actually accept you. But something happened, something changed, whether it is the fact that some of you got married, that is for some of you, that some of you just genuinely got married to somebody who you believed was not worthy, or that you were not worthy of. That's what I'm picking up with this Four of Wands. But I'm also picking up that these messages are so dramatically different. They are up and down a lot with you guys. And that is because this is for such a large group. But your younger self wants you to know that words aren't weapons. Words aren't meant to harm. And you have learned that. You've learned how to take words and make them mystical and magical and transform your life. And when I look at this 10 of coins, and you know, this is the Tarot of the Divine, I think is what it's called. Yes, it's Tarot of the Divine. And so I don't know all of the stories behind it. However, I'm looking at this 10 of coins and I get this Annie vibe. Almost like they're all in an orphanage. You know, but all these kids are laughing and they have all the coins, and you can see this dog is just so dejected, is what it looks like to me. It's almost like you're here and you feel like everybody around you, all the kids that you grew up around, they just kept taking and taking and taking. And they diminished you because you didn't have the right clothes, you didn't have the right toys, pick your poison, pick your words, however you want to put it in there. But it's kind of like you were always so beat down that you just created this illusion within your own brain that you were so unique and so different that no one could ever love you. So you had to make sure that you were just like everybody else instead. And now you have learned how to embrace who you are instead of embracing who other people are and trying to be them. You have learned how to embrace who you are. And in doing so, you have come to a place where you have found inner harmony within yourself, within all the different pieces of who you are, both masculine and feminine, but also I'm like the quirky, silly, goofy part of who you are. And it can be really difficult to go through everything that you've gone through, to endure being compared to this person or that person, or to being told that you're just not. Like, it didn't even really go beyond that. That's all I heard was, you're just not. And I do understand that. It's this essence of, I can't do this and I can't do that. I'm not good enough for this and I'm not good enough for that. But you've always dreamed of finding somebody who would see you for you. And the truth is that you need to slow yourself down and allow yourself to see you for you first. So we've got these cards here, and these are messages from your spirit team. But what I'm seeing, I'm seeing so much positivity, so much love, so much light, so much hope. I'm seeing abundance and prosperity, but I'm also seeing this need that you have to just take a break finally. To just let your mind rest. Let your energy rest. Trust in the process and trust in what's coming in. So let's take a look. We have the Emperor. A lot of masculine energy with you guys. And then we have the Ace of Cups. I love that. Oh, and the Six of Cups. Yeah, absolutely. So your guides have been really telling you that you've been doing a lot of this, but this Six of Cups with the stillness, what I pick up more and more is this energy of, it's time to take a look back, because you've really built a solid foundation of self for you. You really have. For your mind, for your heart, for your soul moving forward, you have really truly built a very solid foundation of just honesty and truth and ambition. And now it's time for you to really know that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of this. But it's like an awakening love within you. But the Six of Cups and the stillness with the Herring card are really speaking a lot about you really taking the time to see the truth of yourself, to see how far you have come and what you are worth. Because it doesn't matter what anybody has ever said in the past about whether you're worth something or not. Nobody can ever take from you what is meant for you and who is meant for you. And yeah, it just, there's this essence of you're awakening to deeper, greater love for yourself finally. But it really is, it's time for you to just take a break. Take a break and let yourself feel rested. Let your mind rest, but also see how far you have come and how much you have really healed your own mind, your own mentality. You know, I was sitting and journaling just yesterday about how amazing I find it for my own life to wake up and be in this great, happy, bubbly mood, to stand up for myself, to know my worth, to establish my boundaries, because it's been a very long process for me. Sometimes it is in those moments of reflection that we do, those moments of stillness where we rest and we say, okay, I know what's coming in for me. I'm going to take a break and I'm going to see how far I have come. No matter what the journey was, no matter what seemed to be lost along the way, I'm going to truly look, because I have matured, I have grown, I have become myself. So we have release. Yeah, I love this. And it's got a frog on it, and frogs are all about cleansing, purification. And that is the essence of just this, taking a psychological break, taking a spiritual break, taking a break from trying to continually progress forward with healing your mind or with spiritual, I just heard spiritual status. I'm not really sure what that means, but I do trust in the messages that come through, so I know that it's something that you'll understand even if I don't. But there is this essence of releasing, of cleansing, of clearing, of purifying all of what you've done, and then letting yourself just take a breather right now. And then we have power with the wand, which to me is the Ace of Wands. So yeah, it's when you give yourself this time to rest, to release all of those things from the past, and that mentality of, am I good enough? Have I done enough? Do I need to keep going? When you allow yourself the moment that you need to get still and to see, it's almost like did somebody watch the movie Without a Paddle recently? I'm actually seeing a scene from it where he's talking about how you have to do the figure eight with the flashlight. You have to do the figure eight, and I just saw 22:11 on my clock, so that may be significant for some of you. But he's doing this figure eight in order to confuse the fish. But what I'm seeing is this, like, it's like taking that where you're learning how to nourish yourself. You're learning how to take care of yourself. But you're also learning the absolute infinite nature of how amazing and beautiful you are and what you have created. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys, this has been happening so continually. I just had major deja vu as I was sitting here looking at your guys' cards. So we have 3 closing cards. Here on the back we do have Ignition and Fire, which is the card 8, which is very much this power card. There's something that I just, with this release card, there was just a wow, words. There was a recent full moon. You may have done some sort of releasing, whether it was releasing some sort of intention. I apologize. That was my cat, Bella. Or whether it was releasing something from you. But what it did was it really it welcomed in all the power within you back into your energy field. It kind of feels very similar to a shamanic soul retrieval process. If you did something like that during any moon phase, but just recently, if you did some sort of soul retrieval, your guides definitely want you to be aware that you did reclaim your personal power through doing that. So that it did, I just keep hearing it did take. So here's what we have. That's so weird. I could have sworn I saw something like crawling on this release card, like it you know, like the creepy crawlies on your skin, where, oh, maybe some of you just like, you just felt this almost like a spiritual itch, where it was like, I just need to clear this up. I need to clean this up. It worked. It did. It definitely did. Like, it worked. So we've got the card 20 with Endurance and Rock. And that's quite literally so deeply tied to this Emperor card and the solid foundations that you've built it on. But the truth is that you've learned how strong you are, how much you are able to grow in the most inhospitable environments. You know, this rock, this tree should not be growing out of a rock. It really shouldn't. But it is. It's magical. It's mystical. It's beautiful. That is the nature of you, of your gifts, of what you're here. Oh my gosh, you guys, you can't make this up. We have the card 23, and it literally says cleansing and storms. But yes, this is the nature of you and who you're here to be. Is you are here to show the world that you can have this new foundation or this different foundation. You can have this life that you want to have. And it doesn't matter where you came from. It only matters that you know that you can do this. And on the final one, we have the card 38, Mystery with Dark Matter. The mystery card part of it, that I think has been something that you've been seeking an answer for. Your younger self wants you to know that some things in life are just meant to be a mystery. And some parts of you are a mystery. And that's okay. That's what you should be embracing. I can't help but notice how young she looks here. And it almost looks like she's wearing a hospital gown, but that at the same time, it's like wearing a nightgown. Did some of you used to sleepwalk? Have you had a resurgence of sleepwalking? Seems very specific. But that's something that I'm picking up. But what I'm seeing with this mystery in the dark matter card, especially for you right now, what your younger self wants you to know is like, you literally carry the mystery and the magic of the entire cosmos, of the heavens, of the earth, of the inner and the outer world. You contain transformation within yourself. People don't always understand what dark matter is. Some people think that dark matter is like really horrible, but to me, on a spiritual level, dark matter is just our shadows. And you've learned to dive really deeply into your own shadows. And more than anything, I just keep being brought back to this stillness card. There's so much going on in these things. I can see how hard you've been working. I can see how much you've been doing to reclaim your personal power, to understand how to wield your personal power in the right way and to show others. But I just keep being brought back to this message of it's time to rest now. It's time to reflect now. It's time to see now, to see where you have been, to see where you have come from, but to see your own worth, to see the beauty in who you are, and to know that you are being cleansed, that you have cleansed yourself. You have learned how to blossom in a place, in a world, in a situation, in a life where you shouldn't have been able to transform. It defied odds. You defy odds. You are the mystery of what people would think of when they think of dark matter and think, well, I don't understand what that is. You are the mystery. You're like a walking mystery, and it's a beautiful thing. It's meant to be that way, because when you embrace the fact that you are this like walking mystic, this walking mystery, you can literally stand still and know that what is meant for you will come to you. Every time you look in the mirror or you look down at a body of water and you see your reflection, you will see the infinite nature of who you are and of your worth in the world. And so very much, your younger self wants you to know. The one phrase that keeps going through my head is, you did it. You did it. Not you did it, but you did it. You did it. Your mom didn't, your dad didn't, your brothers, your friends. No one did this for you, not even spirit. You had to come to spirit. You had to come back to yourself. You had to come to your shadow side. You had to come to terms, to grips with everything from your life. And now your younger self wants to say, you did it. Take the credit for what you have done, for how much you have grown into yourself, into your life, into the truth of who you are, and allow yourself to celebrate, because you are worthy of love and abundance and prosperity. And now is the time for you to rest, because you don't have to keep struggling and striving to get to that, because it is coming to you, because you have endured all the storms, and you have now learned how to release and cleanse what no longer is necessary for you. And you have really embraced this true beauty of the power of love. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing that you have done for yourself, that you have done for the world, that you have done for your family, that you have done for all the future generations. It is a beautiful thing. And your younger self would not have believed he, she, they, this is not gender specific, could ever even possibly be capable of being the person that you are, of doing the things that you have done, of achieving the things that you have achieved. Your younger self is so proud of you. So proud of you. Nothing that you did when you were younger was a mistake. Silences kept, fears held on to, struggles, anything and everything. It's never a mistake. It got you here. You did it. You did it. Take some time out today. If you feel so inclined, so called, take some time out and allow yourself to really see the truth of all that you have endured, all that you have done, and all that you have overcome. And know that you have the power for complete and utter transformation, and you don't have to lift a finger. Give yourself a break. Be still and allow yourself to receive, because it is your time, it is your turn. Pile 1. I can feel the awe of your younger self looking at you now, and I am in awe of you, and I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your energy, for whatever it is that you have endured and gone through and overcome, because you have made the world a better place throughout this entire process, and I am honored to read your energy and bring these messages forth. I want to say thank you so much to my guides, to your guides, and especially to your younger self for stepping forward to bring these messages forward, these understandings and awarenesses and images, so I was able to reach the collective that needs to hear this. I want to say thank you so much to Spirit for all of your unconditional love and for allowing me to be your voice here on this channel, and for others to feel the love and the joy that you have for all of us. Pile 1, if this resonated, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Share this video out, show the world what you have overcome. Comment down below, let me know how you're doing, let me know how this resonated. I would love to hear from you. And down in the description box, if you are interested in any of my books, my program, or donating, all the links are down in the description box below. There is also a link to book a personal reading with me. That is the only way to book a personal reading with me, so please do not be caught up with anybody else. I usually catch anything ahead of time, but I do want to make sure that you are aware that that's the only way. So Pile 1, thank you again. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for the journey that you've been on. Thank you for everything that you have done for yourself and for the world. You have made a difference, and just me being able to read your energy has made a difference in my life. I am honored. Thank you. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the second card, the cow, you chose the card about provide and the symbol of Taurus. Now, we're going to jump first into the astrology, because if you've been watching my channel for a while, or even if you haven't, I am a huge astrology nerd. I have a deep passion for astrology. When it comes to Taurus, Taurus is represented by the bull. In this case, this is not a bull, it is a cow. And that makes it, to me, it makes it more sacred. Now, Taurus rules the second house, and it is about possessions and inheritances and, you know, money and all of that. But to me, Taurus is really about what we value within ourselves and how, I apologize, I have the hiccups, how we value our own personal worth and esteem and ability to bring forth all the things that we need. Now, with it being Taurus and the word provide here, this is talking deeply about your childhood, especially. I'm getting before the age of 10 for a lot of you, that this is the younger self. It's truly, truly like your childhood self is coming forward to talk about your perspective on what it means to provide for others, but also to be provided for. Some of you, trigger warning, some of you may have had parents who did not properly provide for you, whether that is through emotional provisions or psychological provisions. Some of you literally physical, food, clothing, house. Your parents just weren't able to. What I have been picking up so strongly with this card, with this pile, and I've had these cards sitting out for almost 3 days now so that I could get in touch with the energies and really kind of work through them. This pile in particular, there is almost an obsessive quality to it, where every time I touched the energy, it was like, okay, I need to make sure this is situated. I need to make sure this is situated. I need to make sure that these people are taken care of. And there is this essence of your younger self wanting to say, I know that you are trying to compensate for the things that you have gone through as a kid, for the ways in which you felt as though you weren't actually provided for. Whether that's emotional or mental or physical, Spirit, you can't. I apologize. Your younger self wants you to understand that you can't undo it. What was done, you can't. Please stop trying to undo it, is what I'm hearing. I apologize, guys. Okay, I apologize. I had to let those emotions move through. You can't undo what happened in your childhood. It can't. It's kind of like you're trying to take care of everyone and everything else, to the extent of even trying to bubble wrap the world, because you don't want to see anyone go through what you went through. So if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you provide for everything else, for everyone else, then maybe, just maybe, what happened when you were a child, the severe lack, the lack of support, the lack of love, the lack that you grew up with, can be excised out of you through what you're doing for others. But this is not about you doing for others. This is about you doing for yourself. And it's about you letting others take care of you, because you are deserving of being provided for. It doesn't make you weak, and it doesn't make you a leech. I apologize if that was a triggering word. There's a lot of pain in your younger self. There's a lot of pain. And a lot of confusion. I'm hearing a lot of why questions. Why wasn't I enough? Why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't I loved? Why wasn't I seen? Why wasn't I important? And it's one of the hardest lessons that we have to learn as adults. It is. It truly is one of the hardest lessons we will ever have to learn as adults. And that's the fact that what happened to us as kids had absolutely nothing to do with us. It wasn't our fault, but it genuinely, it had nothing to do with us. Our parents were doing the best that they could at any given point in time, and it did not serve you as a child. But you can provide for your younger self now. You can give yourself the nourishment by knowing that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of seeing yourself and your world and what you bring forth as absolutely sacred. You are so important. You are so important in this world. And I think it feels very much like there just aren't enough people who have told you how important you are. How special you are. How your smile lights up a room. How your voice is soothing to the soul. All these things that you have said to other people so many times that you don't allow yourself to see about you, your younger self, this child self of yours, not your inner child, but like the you that you were before you became who you are, if that makes sense, needs to hear these things, needs you to tell yourself these things, because it's the truth. Pile 2, I want to hug you. I don't know how else to explain it, but I just really, really, really want to hug you. So these cards are going to be messages from your childhood self. Just more messages. And then we will pull some messages from your spirit team, spirit guides, just to get a better impression of what's going on. So we have the Knight of Coins, the Four of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. Yeah. I literally just like, we still have this. Were some of you ranchers or grew up in a ranching community? If so, this message really is for you. Please understand that these messages are genuinely for you. Even if it resonates and it just kind of catches you off kilter, and you can sit there and be like, no, that's not the case. It is the case. The Four of Swords, and these are the Tarot of the Divine. However, I am not 100% well versed in the stories of them, so I'm going to be reading them completely intuitively and allow these things to come through. But this Four of Swords is definitely how you feel internally. You feel, your energy feels so very trapped, so very locked down, so very tied up, as though somebody has literally just constricted everything about you because you were never enough. And your younger self wants you to understand that it was never about you. You know, your parents, they went through this thing where money was slow and they didn't know which way was up, and their anger and their rage and their resentment came out in lashes and waves, and it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better. It doesn't undo what has been done. Nobody can undo what's been done. Not even you. Even if you want to, and I can feel that you do want to, it can't be undone. what's done is done is done. But think about who you are now. Some of you are parents now. Some of you are thinking about being parents and you're just scared. What if you repeat the pattern? What if you repeat the cycle? But the thing is if you can see the cycle and if you know the cycle, then you're not going to repeat it. And yeah, there were moments where you were this wild child, where you did these crazy things, but it wasn't, you were never doing it maliciously, and you were never doing it in a means of like, I'm trying to hurt people. No, you were quite literally the opposite way. And it may seem as though this process, this life, this journey that you've been on has been very slow, and it's like you have been providing for everyone over and over and over again, and nobody provided for you, and every time you tried to provide for yourself, you just became more trapped, and that can make you very reactive, and that scares you. I feel like that is something that really scares you. I can feel that within your energy field, but it's almost like it's deeper down. I'm hearing, I don't want to be like, and then a ... and you just fill in the blank. I don't want to be like this person. I don't want to be like that person. I don't want to respond, react, repeat cycles, repeat patterns, repeat behaviors, repeat abuse, repeat, I apologize, repeat this, that, and the other thing. Like it's this constant, I don't want to. And so you keep going around and around and around and around and around on that, and you don't understand that you have been doing all of these things for so many people. It's time to do this for yourself and free yourself up from it, because you have everything that you need within you, and you have this fiery, passionate drive. But if you don't allow yourself to take care of you, to nurture your dreams and your wishes and your hopes and your goals and those things, that's a different way of providing. It's not always about money, but I can see that there is this factor of money in your childhood. And I am seeing this kind of scenario or feeling, hearing. It's kind of a blend of all my gifts. It's very strange with your pile. It's hard to explain, but it's like I can just feel the situation completely, as though your parents were struggling with money and it kind of just got taken out on you. And I do want to say, I apologize if you guys can hear all of the noise above me. My daughter's in her room, but she also has a really big dog who is, our Jaders is just kind of, she's a crazy pup. So I apologize if you can hear a lot of noise in the background. Genuinely, it's just summer break. But the money problems that your parents had, it's almost as though it was put on your shoulders. And it was never because you were a bad kid. It was never because you were a bad kid. You didn't do anything wrong. But it's this sense of overcompensation that's occurring now. So let's see what your guides have to say. Yeah. 10 of Pentacles, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Lover's card. The Lover's card is not so much about an actual relationship, a physical relationship. That's not what I'm getting from it. It's about choices that you've made in life, and this fear of whether or not you can be in this relationship and have it be that way. And see, and I said it wasn't really about a loving relationship, and then yeah, that's exactly what came in, is this relationship that I'm feeling, because we've got the 10 of Pentacles too. So this is literally like all of this is coming down to you're starting to shift into a phase in which you're learning how to provide for yourself. You're learning how to provide for the things that you need and the people that matter to you, but you're also learning that this world, this universe that we live in, this place that we live in, it wants to provide for you. And so the more that you choose the path that is right for you, the more that you choose to trust and believe in yourself and to free yourself up from those constraints of this is how it always was and this is what I have to fix. You can't undo what happened before, but you can see things in a brand new light. You can see the truth of what your guides want you to know is no matter how much you felt as though you were lacking as a child, that's not the case for your adult life anymore. So you can make the choice, you can make the decision to embrace all of the abundance that is within the world, but also within your life. Well, pile 2, I apologize. I had to step away for a moment. My children. So we're gonna shift here because I know we were talking about finances. We need to talk about this Two of Pentacles, especially because it's about learning balance. There's an essence of learning the balance between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. I just keep hearing there's a choice that needs to be made moving forward. There's a decision that needs to be made. And you're overthinking this decision, and you're overthinking this decision because you're afraid of repeating cycles. You're afraid of what came before. You're afraid of the childhood that you lived and survived. But the thing is you survived it. So you don't need to be afraid of continually repeating these patterns because it's not about repeating them anymore. It's about learning how to move beyond them. This Ten of Pentacles, there's this essence of almost like an orphanage feeling to it, where there's these two people and they're just embracing all of these children. They're embracing this life and this blessing and this gift. And some of you may actually want to build an orphanage. Maybe you were orphans. I apologize if that's the case, and that's why there is this essence of you can't undo it. I am picking some of that up here, but what I'm seeing here is, like I was saying before, we live in this abundant universe. It wants to provide for all of us, and so you can make the choice to trust in that and to move forward in the world, to allow your passions and allow your drive and allow your ambition to come out, and to know that it doesn't make you a bad person. So we have Dare to Dream. And I absolutely love this card because it's literally like the claws are holding on to the diamond. And, a diamond is formed underneath the earth. And I have this analogy about fears and blessings. So fear is like the charcoal or the coal that forms. And coal and diamonds both form very similarly, but they're not actually the same thing. So that's a misnomer. A misnomer, I think is how you say it. Forgive me. But coal forms from pressure, but it forms higher up in the surface of the earth. And then a diamond forms significantly deeper. Both of them under pressure, both of them organic compounds. But it's about knowing that when you have fear, you can either take the charcoal that's at the surface and acknowledge the fear, but never actually work through it. You just say, okay, I know I'm afraid, so this sucks. Or you can dig deeper and you can grasp a hold of the blessing that is the diamond deep inside of who you are. And that is really your dreams. It's your gifts, it's your goals, it's your ambition, it's your drive, it's the decisions that you make to know that no matter what it is that you go for in this life, despite the fact that you may have grown up in a situation in which you going after your dreams was preposterous in nature. It was just absolutely preposterous. That isn't the case anymore. That this is a different life. It's a different journey. And then we have Speak Truth. Oh. What is it that, what have you been holding on to? Told that you can't tell anyone, told that you shouldn't tell anyone, or just some promise that you made to yourself. I will take this to my grave. I'll never say anything to anyone because whatever. I mean, you find the reason or don't find a reason. Again, you guys, I apologize for the noise. Okay, I definitely, I had to pause it. It was at 22:22, guys. But I definitely had to pause it so that the video, so I could ask my daughter to leave her room because she's shaking my camera too. My office is directly below her room. But this truth, there's this portion between either speaking a truth, as in there's a truth that you need to speak that you said that you would never speak before. But the other part that I'm picking up is very, very much about you speaking more truths about yourself and your worth. About knowing that you are meant to do these things, to be these things, to have this life. And at some point you have to accept the truth that is who you are. We can be very, very afraid of speaking things into existence. But what if you were speaking your dreams into existence? What if you were speaking wealth and prosperity and happiness and balance and harmony and love into existence? If you were speaking these things into existence and they were your truth, what would you would have to accept who you are and what you are able to do. And I love that on the back of the deck for these final messages we have volcano with power, because that is quite literally what this would be, is you would have to accept the power that you contain within yourself, the spiritual and loving nature of the universe, and the power that you have when you connect to the universe. So we have Fury with brush fires and the card 10. We have 23 with cleansing and storms, and I love these two in combination. I'm going to get the last one and then we'll go there. And then 26 with transformation and pressure. So what this is telling me is that it actually starts with this transformation and pressure card. The more pressure that you feel regarding the past, but even from your past, when you look back and you see this fury, the brush fires, it talks about anger and how anger burns so hot, it burns so bright, and it can ravage whole lands. This was very, very much like what you had to deal with as a kid. This anger, this rage, this fury. But what it did was actually create this excessive pressure upon you. And you perceive it as this pressure to provide for others, this pressure to provide more, whether that's for your life or for others, this pressure to provide these things because you're afraid you won't be provided for. And now there is this call to cleanse this from your energy. Some of you may have had messages in pile 1. You may be drawn to pile 1 and then have come here. If that's the case, you may have messages in pile 1 and this is your confirmation. But what I'm seeing here really strongly is there's this end of a cycle. There's this end of this pressure, this buildup. And it's going to come with this massive transformative power in your life where you realize that everything that you've built up and you've been doing for other people, now all of that anger, all of that rage, all of that resentment is going to be cleansed from you, and it will be your turn, your turn. It's your turn. All of the past can be cleansed and transformed. And when you allow the universe to provide for you, that right there is what you're being called to. That's what your younger self wants you to know is, yes, it may have been hard. Yes, you have had to provide for so many people and nobody took care of you. But that's not the case anymore. The universe wants to provide for you. The universe wants to take care of you. The universe wants to show you how loved and worthy you are moving forward. Pile 2. I do apologize one more time for the noise, for the chaos. I get the sense that all of that happened because of your pile and how the energy works, to show you that you can continue moving forward doing something even when everything around you feels chaotic. Because you know what? I loved doing this reading, and I could look at it as there was some energetic interference, or I could just, talk to my kids and keep moving forward, because these are important messages. You have the ability to do that as well. Continue moving forward because it's what's meant to be, even if it seems like there are blockages to everything. You just keep moving forward and remember that you are worthy. You are worthy of being loved and provided for. So pile 2, thank you again so much for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your tenacity. Thank you for your perseverance. Thank you for your endurance. And thank you for the love that you have been giving to others, and that you deserve to give to yourself now. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection. Thank you to your younger self for stepping forward and bringing these messages forth. And thank you so much, Spirit, for connecting me, for allowing me to sit here and channel you and be your voice for these people, to help them, because the more love that we can spread from you into the collective, the more love there is in the world. And I am honored and blessed every day to be sitting here and doing this. Thank you again so much. If this video resonated, please hit the like button, share the video with your friends and family, help others just as you are helping yourself. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Comment down below, let me know how you're doing. I worry about you guys, and I love you all. And don't forget, down in the description box there are links to my author page on Amazon so you can purchase my books. There are links to donate to my channel. There are links for my program, and there are also links if you would like to book a personal reading. Those are the only websites in which you can book a personal reading. I will never ask you. I do not have WhatsApp. I don't have any messaging systems. I just really don't. I don't care to keep them. I did that once upon a time and deleted them all and closed out. So, all right, pile 2, thank you again for being here. Thank you for continuing to move forward, and thank you for always enduring, even when it was the hardest thing that you've ever had to do. I am honored to sit here and read for you. I am honored to know you in the way that I can know you. So thank you. I will see you all next time. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the third card, you chose the bear with the red jasper, and the card says rest, and it has the wheel of the year on it. That's what this symbol is here. I'll actually move it up closer for you. But this wheel of the year talks about cycles. And the card itself talks about cycles, the different cycles of life. But when we're talking about the bear, we're talking about physical rest, taking a break, like a true break. So your younger self, first of all, I really had trouble connecting in the beginning with your guys' pile, with the messages from your pile, but I understand why now. It's because when we're in this constant go state, our energy is constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly on the go. And it does take a lot for us to realize that we can take a deep breath and let ourselves rest. What I'm picking up from your younger self, and this is quite a dramatic difference from piles 1 and 2 with you guys, is your younger self is saying that even though you may have been one of those, I get the sense that you were one of those kids that really always had energy. You may be neurodivergent, so have ADHD or been diagnosed hyperactive or told that you have too much energy. So, hearing things like, oh, you're just bouncing off the walls, things like that. Which is funny because I'm actually hearing Sugar Cult's Bouncing Off the Walls in my head right now. I'm bouncing off the walls again. Whoa. Yeah, it's going through my head. Some of you may have just recently listened to that song. But what I'm picking up with that is it's almost as though there's this essence of you wish you could actually access that energy that you had as a kid. But the thing is when you were a kid, you never balked or you never scoffed or like hesitated to take a break, to take a nap, to sleep at night. That's why you had all this energy, because you'd let yourself stop. You'd let yourself slow down. And then something changed, and I'm getting the sense that it changed around the age of 13 to 16 for most of you. And it's something that actually impacted your root chakra, where whatever sense of safety and security that you had when you were younger, just, it disappeared. It's going to be different for everyone. So I have way too many scenarios going through my head of what the possibilities are, like a death in the family, which I apologize if that's what the situation was. Or you suddenly had to move, some sort of financial difficulty with your parents. Some of you may have become parents at a young age. Some sort of just upheaval and change that really shocked you, literally like shocked your energetic system down to the root. And with that, you became a runner, essentially. And I don't mean like you were a cross-country runner, though some of you actually were cross-country runners. What I mean is you became a runner. You started running and going and going and going, and you never felt like you could stop. There was no place to rest. There was no place to stop and lay your head down, because nothing felt safe. Nowhere felt safe, because your home wasn't your home anymore. Whatever the situation was that changed it, your younger self is coming forward now to ask you to stop, because it's time that you rest, because there's this essence of you're wearing your body out and you don't realize that you're wearing your body out, because you're just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing it. And it's okay to take a break. Bears are incredibly strong animals. They can walk great distances and they can climb trees. Well, I believe black bears are the ones that can climb trees. But they can do all of these things. They can fish with their bare hands. They have all of these amazing abilities for such a huge animal. And they have the capability of doing these things because they know the cycles of life, and they know when it's time to take a break, to take a rest, to go into hibernation mode. And it's like your younger self is saying everything has an ebb and a flow. And you have to understand not just your own cycles, but the cycles of the earth, the cycles of the moon, the cycles of the planets. Everything moves in cycles. I am writing retrograde guidebooks, and one of the things that is so prominent about these is even down to the aspects made over the duration of time of these retrograde cycles of the planets. it's cyclical. Everything moves in its own way. So Mercury moves faster than the sun for the most part. So then Mercury makes the aspects, and then the sun comes behind and makes the aspects, and then over time Venus makes the aspects, and then over time Mars will be making the aspects. And it's always going to be the same aspects for these slower planets because of the slower time frame of the outside planets, as well as the way that the faster planets interact in different zodiac signs. So it works on a cycle. And when you are able to recognize the cycle and the time frames, you're able to work with the energy in a significantly easier way. Now that's just one aspect of it. You can also look at the moon. The moon goes through phases. There are eight phases of the sun, 4 primary and 4 secondary. And in the absolute last one, before we shift into the new moon, it's called the balsamic or the dark moon. And when that happens, it always, at the culmination point of that moon phase, will always be in the sign of the prior zodiac season right before the new moon, which is in the new zodiac season. So for Gemini, the balsamic moon right before the Gemini new moon will always be the balsamic Taurus moon. And it is that way, and I truly believe it is that way, and it's been that way forever for one specific reason. Because Spirit and the planets and the universe co-conspire to help us all the time. Whether we realize that or not, they always want to help us. And they are teaching us about the cycles of our own life. Even if you're a female and you have menstruation cycles, it's a cycle that you go through, and noticing how it works, when it happens, and how everything flows helps you to stay more in tune with your own physical body. Now, this doesn't necessarily apply to just females. Even men have cycles. But when you don't allow yourself the proper amount of rest, you actually throw off all the cycles of your body. And when you throw off the cycles of your physical body, now you're throwing off the cycles of your energetic body, which throws off the cycles of your spiritual body. And then everything gets off kilter. And it all boils back down to this point in time that you haven't been able to definitively locate within your life. And it's this point in time between the ages of 13 and 15 for everyone in this pile, which is very strange and very specific. So thank you, Spirit, for the absolute specificness of this. Specificity. Wow, I have good words today, guys. But whatever it was between those ages, or 13 to 16, not 13 to 15, but 13 to 16, because it felt like a 4-year gap there. Whatever it is in that time frame, it impacted your sense of safety, your sense of security, not just in the world, but within yourself, within your connections with other people, within anything and everything that you did. And from that, it kind of, for some reason, I negated you feeling safe enough to rest. It's like you had to constantly battle, constantly fight in order to just keep going. And you're not, Spirit's like, it's not time to run forward anymore. Your younger self needs you to understand that you can look back and look at all that energy you had as a kid, all of that energy that made you bounce off the walls as a kid, and want to be able to access that. But you have to understand that you're in specific cycles of your life. And it doesn't matter what age you're in, the cycle that you're at in your life is asking you to slow down and to take a breather and to take some rest, and to know that when you come into a phase of rest, you are safe, you are protected, you are loved, and you do not have anything to worry about what you're doing is being true to you, to your cycles, and to what you're being called to do, what your body is being called to do, what your energy body needs. In fact, I'm not even going to lie. I had to literally take a nap before I was able to access the energy of this pile, because I had to rest my energy in order to get realigned with your energy. You definitely need to take this break, take this time, take a break from something, from, even if it's just a break from thinking, take a rest period from thinking about something specific that has seemingly been plaguing your mind, because when you take that time, things will start flowing easier. So let's get a little bit more information. We have the Queen of Coins. I'm not surprised. The Tower card. Okay. Yeah. This is what I was talking about. And the Moon card. Yeah. So these are the cards that I asked from your younger self to just kind of help talk about this situation. But in all reality, it's literally saying everything I just said, because your younger self is using these cards to literally confirm, because you need that confirmation. You need to know. So you've got the Queen of Coins and the Tower card. That's literally whatever it was that made you feel as though you had this nurturing, this safety, this security, this grounding, this balance, this protection. And this could have very easily been financial, but it was something within the physical world, was just literally shaken to its core, as though lightning struck the tower and it crumbled down. And it did. It created an illusion for you. It created this illusion that you couldn't rest because there was no safe space. And I could not have foreseen these cards having fallen any more perfectly to confirm what I was saying for you guys. Okay. All right. So let's get a message from your spirit guides on where to go from here. Okay. All right. First thing, a lot of this is a mentality thing. A lot of this is you in your head about certain things. So let's take a look. We have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, and even this Ten of Wands in and of itself is, you know, the Ten of Wands is usually somebody carrying a bunch of wands on their back or in front of them, and it's this heavy burden, this heavy load. But in this one, the load isn't even that heavy, because it's being shared. It's being helped. This oxen is literally carrying the load for her, but she's on this journey. She's going and going and going. And so the perception that the load is so hard to bear is quite literally just that. It's a perception, and it's a perception because you don't allow yourself the time to rest. Even when you know you have the help carrying everything that you're carrying, you're not giving yourself the time to rest, and you really, really genuinely need it. You genuinely need it. For others of you, this is literally Spirit saying, in your spirit guide saying, hey, we're right here. We are here, and we are ready, and we are willing to help carry the load that you have been carrying on your back that isn't even yours to carry. We're here to help you, so that when you move forward from a place that is well rested and ready to go. And then we have the Fool card. See, when you move forward, and that's literally like, look at the difference between these two. Look at how much trust she has in the help she has, in where she is and within herself. This is somebody who just simply does not think about anything beyond how strong and assured she or he or they are. And this is non-gender specific. I'm just reading the card image. Whatever it is that is contained within, this sense of safety, this sense of assurance, and this connection to spirit, that's what this amethyst stone in the hand represents is this connection to spirit, this connection from the crown down, and this blind faith and blind trust in your safety and your security. That's a really hard thing. That is a hard leap to make, especially from this state. It is an incredibly difficult leap to make. And when you go through something in childhood where your entire foundations have been just completely obliterated, it is very hard to say, okay, I'm going to take a leap of faith. And what I'm seeing with this leap of faith is not about you moving anywhere or doing anything or initiating anything. It's literally you taking a step back. It's like hangman energy firmly here. This taking a step back and trusting in what you have within you. And then we have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, the deception that you have going on right now, it's quite literally you're deceiving yourself that you don't, that you have to keep going, that a new start means a new location, it means a new job, it means a new this, it means a new that. Sometimes a new start is quite literally just dropping all the weight, all of the mental anguish, all of the illusions and the deceptions that other people say or that your mind is telling you you have to do because of whatever happened to you when you were a kid. You don't have to do that. Sometimes a new start is just letting yourself rest and knowing that everybody has a summer phase, everybody has a winter phase, everybody has a spring phase. And if you are in a phase where everything just doesn't seem to be picking up or taking off or doing anything, you may be in a winter phase. You may actually be living in the southern hemisphere right now and it's winter. You may be watching this in the northern hemisphere during winter time. Either way, whatever it is, like, let yourself rest. You know, when winter comes, there is this hush of snow, and it comes and it is calm and silent, and it is mystical and magical. But if you are constantly going, you don't get to hear the beauty of the silence of snowfall. Sometimes it is literally in those quiet, calm moments that we're able to see that it's okay to revel in that break time. Because when we allow ourselves to rest and revel in that break time, the things that we're able to perceive and to hear and to change literally break through any and every illusionary cloud from anything from the past. So let's take a look. We have movement. Oh my gosh, you guys. Seriously. You have some of the most dualistic cards, because on this side, it's like one half of you wants to go. And you literally need to let yourself rest. This movement card, a snake has to move to shed its skin, but it doesn't have to go anywhere. It can literally wriggle exactly where it's at and the skin comes off. It's time for you to transform. Even just a caterpillar turning into a butterfly is still undergoing some sort of movement, but they're doing it in a restful state. Sometimes the movement and the progress in our life occurs when we take a step back. That's how it's always worked for me. And then we have manifest. See? This is what I'm saying. Sometimes it happens when you take a step back. And these, the colors here and the colors here are telling me this is something that you are manifesting from your heart. And we have compassion. Are some of you guys Pisces? Or deeply impacted by Pisces season this year? Compassion and Pisces energy are deeply connected. And you know, there's this skull here, and it's this very similar to this one here, but this one has grown. This is like a buck, and this one is like a bull. But you have this here. It's quite literally like when you want to have something, you have to let go of what came before, and you have to let go of the illusions of your mind that are telling you that you can't take a break. That actually slows manifestation down. When you sit and you're like, well, I can't do this, I have to keep going, I have to keep doing this, I have to like go, and you don't give yourself the time to just really get compassionate towards yourself about what it is that you have been through, what it is that you want, to take the time that you need for yourself to rest, to reflect, to rejuvenate, to understand how your cycles work and how to move with them. You slow your manifestations down. You actually impede your own personal progress by not treating yourself with the care and the consideration and the kindness and the love and the compassion and the empathy that you treat everybody else. Some movement on this one. For those of you who have been like, I should start yoga, and then you stop yourself, this is spirit and your guide coming through to say, no, you really should. For others of you, there's an energetic movement that's trying to happen, but you have to allow yourself the time to take a step back and to get the sleep that you need and to rejuvenate yourself in the right way. So we have beginnings and east with the card 3. I love this. I love this because it's literally like there's a cycle that wants to end. This go cycle wants to end. And when this go cycle ends, the funny thing is it's almost like it will pull you out of that winter phase and pop you into the spring phase of something new coming. And then we have the card 37 with attraction and magnetism. And look, there's just this little kid just staring off at Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of cause and effect. And Saturn says there is a cause and effect to everything. So if you want to manifest here, if you want this new beginning to come in, you have to allow yourself to rest and not buy into the illusions of your own mind that are constantly saying, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. That's not how this world works. Like, you are meant to have the stable, grounded, firm home life that you want, and you can manifest that. You can bring that into your life, but you have to allow yourself the time to rest. And we have the card 23 with cleansing and storms, and this is a collective energy here because every single pile has gotten this, and I'm filming this the day after the full moon, the super full moon, which was a deeply cleansing full moon. It just was. It was one that just like wiped everything out. But this cleansing and storms, I talked about lightning, like the lightning bolt hitting the tower. Sometimes these storms come into our lives in order to cleanse something out of it. And we can't see it all the time when we're kids. We just can't. We're not meant to, because we're kids. We're meant to be in the experience of life when we're children. And so we can't always see what it is that's being cleansed out of our lives, but you have the opportunity now as an adult to take a step back and to see it. You can see it now because you have that new perspective. And that may just usher in more compassion, not just for yourself, but for your younger self, for your family, for the situation that you went through. And all of that resentment that you're harboring or have been harboring. And this is no judgment, because when you go through these hard times, you do harbor resentment. And I myself am victim or not victim, but guilty of that. I literally have called my mom and said, I used to resent you so much for this, and I never understood. I never understood until I was an adult and in your position. I never understood. So I'm going to actually, Spirit really wants me to tell you this personal story. Okay, so my dad was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic. He was a drug abuser. He wasn't present a lot in my life. I love my dad deeply. even though he's passed, I love him deeply. I actually have a better relationship with him now that he's no longer alive and I'm a medium than I did when he was alive. But I love my dad deeply. And I genuinely used to believe that my mom never loved him, that she just stayed with him out of obligation to us children. And it was not until I was an adult and I was going through a divorce and I had to ask my ex-husband, I was married to at the time, to pack his things and get out of my house because he was having an affair. And the messy part of, like, that's just the messy part of it. But the point here is, I asked him to come back. My mom asked my dad to come back. You don't do that for the children. You do that because whether you want to face it or not, you love the person. But I had to call my mom up and tell her I resented you so much because I thought you never loved my dad, and this is why. But now that I have undergone this experience and all the healing and cleansing I have done, I understand in a vastly different way. I understand in a vastly personal way how much love you have to have for a person to run the risk of hurting your children by inviting them back into your home. Because I've done it. Because I walked that path myself, and I was able to understand it. Sometimes as an adult, now we are able to understand experiences that we went through as kids from our parents' perspective instead of from the perspective of the broken child. We can see it from both the parent's perspective and the child's perspective. And that is a unique level of compassion that you can have for yourself and for others. And that, when you are able to see things that way, you literally start something new without even doing anything. You're not moving, you're not doing anything. You're putting something to rest in that situation. And this rest card, there are so many different ways that it can play out in your life, and it just depends on you. But there is this essence of cleansing. Every storm we feel in life cleanses something from us, and after that we are able to more fully step into a new beginning. And this attraction and magnetism is literally you bringing in the things that are right for you. When you allow yourself to rest, or when you put certain things to rest, you awaken this energy, this kundalini energy within you. You awaken this attraction energy within you, and you know what you want and you move towards it, but you move towards it in a completely new, trusting way, because what you carry within you is so much more firm than anything else in the physical world, and therefore nothing lost in the physical world can ever shake this understanding and this knowing that you hold within you of your own grounded roots within yourself, within your purpose in this life, within what you're meant for in this life. It changes everything for you moving forward. Pile 3, I don't see anything else. I want to tell you, I am absolutely amazed by this pile, by this reading. It took me 3 times and an hour-long nap to be able to really harness this energy that you are working with. It is profound energy. It really is. I want to say thank you so much to opening it up for me to be able to read it, because if it had not been for you seeking out this reading, I would not be able to bring forward these messages. So thank you very much. I want you to understand that every reading that I do is you and I collaborating together, because if it were not for your energy, these messages would not be here. And I am always honored and blessed to work with you like this. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides. I'm sorry, I have a guide candle lit on my altar, and the flame has been leaping until I thanked them, because it was kind of like, hey, we're still here. Hey, we're still here. And I love my guide team and your guide team. I love all the guide teams that I am able to interact with, but my guide team, they have a special place in my heart, and I know that yours does in your heart as well, even if you don't realize it quite yet. But I do want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating this connection. I want to say thank you to your younger self for stepping forward to bring these messages forth. And thank you so much to Spirit for this beautiful collaboration that we have going on today. It is such a beauty, such an honor, and I feel truly blessed. Pile 3, if this resonated, please hit that like button and share it out. Share this video with your friends and your family. Share it with social media. Just the more Spirit messages get out there, the more love gets into the world, and we could all use a little bit more love in our lives, and this world could definitely use more love spread into it. I also want to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel, and if you are inclined to be notified, you won't miss any of my upcoming videos, and you'll be able to see all of the collaborations that you and I have going forward. So don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. Let me know in the comments how this resonated, if this resonated, you know, how this impacted. I would love to know. I would love to have a conversation. And don't forget to check out the description box below with all of the links to my author page on Amazon for all my books, to my program, Breaking Boundaries, Finding Freedom, that gives you your creative freedom back in your life as you break free of the boundaries others have placed on you, and links to donate and or book a personal reading. So Pile 3, I want to say thank you one more time. I will see you guys at my next video. I love you all. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose the 4th pile, you chose the Bat card with Communicate, as well as the blue and white sodalite stone. I did want to preface this video before we go any further. If you can hear any noise, I'm actually going to shift it over so you can see what I'm doing here. For some reason with you guys, I felt like I needed to turn my essential oil diffuser on. And this has lemongrass and tangerine, which are great for cleansing and purifying. They're also really great for uplifting with that tangerine. So some of you may want to do that. There's something about uplifting and changing perspective with this, which is very interesting considering it's a communication card. But with it being the bat, if you think about bats and the way that they communicate, they use echolocation. So they actually send out sound, and then they wait for the feeling to come back, the reverberation of the sound, the vibration of the sound to come back to them, to know where they're at and whether there's anything that they need to be afraid of or aware of in order to shift their positioning. And that's what these circles in the middle signify, is the echolocation of the bat. Now here's the thing. When I was a kid, I remember one night, I must have been somewhere between the ages of like 8 and 10, 7 to 9 actually. It was before I was 10. But we were asleep in my house, and my brother's room had, in their closet, it actually had the stairway up to the attic. And the attic was open, and there was a bat in our attic, and we didn't know. So my brother woke up with this bat on his face, and I remembered being absolutely terrified. And my dad came running in, and he captured the bat inside a Folgers can, one of those like Folgers coffee back when it was a metal can, trapped it inside a Folgers can and let it outside. But it had happened so close to dawn, and the bat was in an area it wasn't familiar with. And so it got caught in our front bushes. I don't know if maybe it was trying to hide within the front bushes, but the sun came up and the bat actually died because it was too hot out for it, and I found it the next morning or the next afternoon in that bush outside the house. And I just remember always being so terrified of bats throughout my life because of that moment. It was just so terrifying. And, you know, people talk about bats having rabies and carrying diseases and everything like that. But the more that I have awakened to my spiritual gifts and my spiritual nature, the more I have come to understand the deeper meaning of bat as a spirit animal, as a power animal, and what it means to communicate in the ways in which bats do. Bats communicate via energy. And this is, you know, subjective, of course, as most things are in this world. This is very subjective. But to me, bats communicate via energy, and as a channeler, that's how I communicate. When you were a kid, your younger self wants to make you aware of the different ways in which you communicated as a kid. A lot of the time when we go through things, even if it's just the simple nature of growing older in your life, you can shut off pieces of you, pieces of your gifts, your spiritual gifts, your psychic gifts. You can turn those off and forget about those, or not fully access those anymore because you get older and you stop believing in it, or you get older and you forget. You just forget that that was a part of you. Now, when it comes to your younger self, again, you guys have a pile that is so different from the rest. It is so dramatically different from the rest, because for the first time, and literally the very, very first time out of all the piles, I feel like this is just literally something that is easing into your life. Your younger self wants you to be aware that there's something more coming in. There's a new type of communication, or there is a new style of communicating awakening within you. And it's not that this communication style was something that you shut off because of any kind of hard time or trauma or abuse or anything like that. It's literally like it's something that you had as a kid, and you grew up. You grew up and you forgot. Some of you may be mediums and not realize it. But with this, I think it's Awen, A-W-E-N, or Arwen, A-R-W-E-N. I can't remember. Actually, I'll pull out the book so I can bring this up. And this is the Wild Mystic Oracle. I absolutely love these cards. They are just phenomenal. Yeah, it's Awen, A-W-E-N. But I'm going to actually pull it up so that I can read it to you guys. Something about it, it's you have such a deep creative soul, creative heart, creative perspective, and you're learning new ways of communicating that creativity. So it says, this card represents communication and connection. Animals from bats to dolphins use echolocation to scout the world around them, hunt down prey, find mates, and detect obstacles in their path. This form of communication with the world is alien to our own human processes, and yet increasingly familiar as our species have begun to communicate electronically. This card symbolizes connection to the invisible as well as connection to the world around us. It also says the Awen symbol, which sits behind the bat, is a druid symbol for the spirit of poetic inspiration sent from nature or the gods. It has become popular in neo-druidry as an emblem of the spirit of life which flows within music, poetry, and stories. Druid bards are musicians, storytellers, and artists who use their art to communicate ancient stories, philosophy, and their understanding of nature. Like the bat who carries messages through the shadows of mystery, the bard communicates mysteries which we aim to solve through listening and interpretation. This card reminds you to express yourself and find your voice. It may also encourage you to acknowledge the hidden messages that have been troubling you. This is great when you use it with club moss, mint, iris, celestite, cerussite, wolfenite. It's also something, especially the symbol, to use with ancestor work and divination, luck or blessing on a speaking engagement or presentation, and encouraging clear communication. Now, the encouraging clear communication is what I picked up, which is why I'm using the lemongrass and the tangerine essential oils, because it just felt natural. It's like the type of communication style that you have, that you employ now, is very similar to that, in which, you know, my last reading, when I was doing the reading on the super full moon in Sagittarius, I talked about from the mouth of babes, and that is the essence of it. There was something that your younger self used to talk about that you stopped doing as you got older, and now that's awakening within you. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely need some throat chakra clearing. Again, this pile in particular, you are mediums, you are channelers. And see, the High Priestess has been sitting on the back of this deck, and I have seen it repeatedly. And she knows the mysteries, and she knows the wisdom of the unseen realms. And she is quite literally like the energy of this pile. You are my diviners, my spiritualists, my mediums. And it's kind of like your younger self is almost like there's almost this essence of like Mardi Gras, which is very strange, but it's kind of like it's time to have fun with your gifts. It's time to have fun with this. It's time to just kind of let this be something that's really fun, really light, really uplifting, not something that seems so heavy. And when we go through this spiritual awakening, it can get really heavy. And especially when you're doing some sort of healing journey, it can get really heavy. So these are going to be messages from your younger self. Yeah, death. That's that awakening. Something is falling away and being reborn. It's going through this transformation. The Eight of Wands. Ooh, holy cow. Yeah. And the moon. The moon has been coming up quite a bit as well. But remember how the bat works at night. So you may be seeing a massive increase in the way that you communicate with the spiritual realm. For instance, I was texting David yesterday, my husband David yesterday, and I was telling him about the fact that I've been struggling to write my Neptune retrograde guidebook during the day, but at night when I'm alone and in my bedroom, the words just flow so much easier. The energy flows so much easier, and it's very unusual for me because I'm not at my desk, or I'm not upstairs in my kitchen where I normally work and normally write. And I just saw 11:22, so I did want to mention that. But I'm not doing all of these normal, usual ways of it, but it's working. And you know, the moon is literally the card of Pisces. So this may be that you're learning how to communicate in the ways in which Neptune is teaching you, which is really, really, really cool. I have to tell you, it is really cool because I'm learning this myself. And that's not to say that this is my pile or anything like that. I also am picking up, you quite literally used to speak to spirits when you were a child. And around the age of 8 is when that changed. Around the age of 8. Wow, I said that, didn't I? Between the ages of 7 and 9. For my story. That's why I told you the story, to show you the different kinds of communication methods. Wow, this is really cool. Sorry guys, I just got really excited because this is an 8 and this is 18, which reduces to a 9. And this is 13, which it reduces to 4. So maybe it's between the ages of 4 and 9, but literally what I'm picking up is right around the age of 8 is when you stop doing that because somebody told you were making it up. Like, it caught someone off guard. Maybe it caught, a brother, a parent, a sister. For some of you, it was a best friend or a teacher at school. Caught them off guard that's interesting. Okay. Your guides want to do 2 cards here on each side, which is different. Like I said, different from the other 3 piles. But it was somebody who told you that it wasn't true, but in reality, what you said was too true. Like TOOTRUE. It was too true. It was something that caught them off guard because nobody knew it and nobody should have known it, but you did, and you spoke it out because there was a spirit that was telling you what to say. And it just caught them very, very off kilter. So let's find out what your guides have to say about this situation. Because essentially what I'm seeing here is you put it to rest. You put it to bed. You put your gifts away and relegated it to an illusion that you had created. But this is not an illusion. These are your blessings. These are your gifts. These are a communication style you've always been able to access, but you just have forgotten that you could always access it. We have the 7 of Swords. See? It's that illusion, that deception. And the 7 of Swords and the Moon, you guys definitely had a pull towards another pile. I'm not going to tell you which pile, but you know which pile I mean. And the reason I'm not telling you is because you were pulled there by a spirit. And you shrugged... Oh, I apologize. I did not mean to hit my microphone. You shrugged it off as though it wasn't important, but it was. And we've got 7, 8, and 9 now. That's incredible. Some of you have been seeing crows and blackbirds, and I just heard hawk. And then we've got the King of Cups. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Okay. We're going to grab these 2 and then I'll let you know. The Ace of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. All right. So, and again, and I know with this deck, the Light Seers Tarot, crows are prominently featured. But first of all, you have messages in another pile. That is why with your pile, this one in specific, there was nothing that I picked up that was anywhere similar because it was a test. Are you going to listen to that pile first or this pile first? If you listen to this pile, this is literally telling you that you know that you need to go back. And we have 2 8s here, which is significant for you. Were you born in 1988? Some of you were born in 1988, 1989, 78, 97, 98. Oh my gosh, 98. I apologize. I was born in the 80s, so thinking about somebody born 11 years after me just makes me feel very old. Yes, I did just date myself. But what your guides are saying is death is but an illusion, and you're learning this. You're also learning that the emotions that you feel, the fear that you have felt surrounding a lot of your gifts it's waning. Is what I heard. It's waning, you know, like an ebb and a flow. It's starting to ebb away. It's starting to move away from you because you're learning how to get more in touch with your emotions, and you're no longer fearing the things that you feared before. It's kind of like the bat card. Like I said, you know, I used to be absolutely terrified of bats when I was a kid because of having the bats come forth when I was a kid and, you know, obviously land on my brother's face and the fear of everything. But this is literally like your fears surrounding all of this are starting to shift away from you because you're understanding more about your emotions. Yeah, and it the more you clear your mind, the more you actually move into some of you are looking into witchcraft, and that is okay. You are safe to do that. You need to clear your mind about the fear surrounding that. Like, just point blank, I just have to tell you that. It's not something to be feared. Utilize it in the proper way. Utilize it in the way that is for the highest good of all, and know that there is an energetic rebound system, just like echolocation. But it is safe for you to embrace this aspect of yourself and to learn what you want to learn. That's just very specific. That's what I just picked up from the Ace of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. So we have withdraw with the fox. Okay. And then we have share wisdom. And your third card, we have power. You guys definitely need to go see that other pile. I am not telling you which. I just can't do it, but I am telling you, you definitely were called to another pile. But with this withdraw card, that's kind of the essence of what you did, was you withdrew from your gifts. But you also withdrew yourself from a lot of toxicity, of people who would deceive you, of spirits that would deceive you. Because I tell you what, not all spirits are going to speak truths in your ear. And I had to learn that one the hard way, because I don't subscribe to hell and the devil. And I just don't. But that's because I choose not to see that aspect. I choose to live in the light. But it does not mean that I don't acknowledge that there are whispering spirits who are confused and lost, and they don't know how to get their messages through. And so they can whisper to us, and it can feel as though they are speaking, that it's just our own mind. And in doing that, that literally robs us of our own internal power, because we don't understand that what we're hearing is coming from somewhere else. When you start recognizing that it's coming from somewhere else, you can actually withdraw your energy from that and ask for help. I usually call in Archangel Michael and Kuan Yin and Archangel Zadkiel to help me transmute this energy, this negativity, this stuck spirit, if you will. I don't know necessarily that I believe in stuck spirits, because I haven't fully experienced all of that aspect of it. However, I do know that I am opening my mind more to a lot of things that I wouldn't normally open my mind to. And that feels a lot like what you're being called to do. So the more that you withdraw from this deceptive energy that you have been dealing with, and you really understand more about the way that different things work and the way that your fear has actually taught you different things, you're going to learn a new communication. Some of you may actually be learning telepathy. Please be wary of that. Thank you, Spirit. I understand. Okay, I'm going to share some of my own personal wisdom. So I got caught up in this group. And it was like an offshoot group of a bigger group. And one of the people kept pushing and pushing because they wanted to work on telepathy, and said that Archangel Sandalphon brought forth a message to them about that, except that Archangel Sandalphon works in a specific way. Archangel Sandalphon is the archangel who is there for you to call upon to take your messages up to the heavens. But he doesn't deliver messages to us from the heavens. He is the divine messenger from humanity to the gods. And it's so incredibly specific in that way that was my first tell that this was a fabricated truth. And so I understand getting caught up in wanting that, but there is such a thing as mental manipulation. And this isn't just in the spiritual realm. This is also in the physical realm. There are people who will willingly mentally manipulate you. If you have a gift like telepathy coming online, please be very discerning. Make sure that when you are accessing the gift, you are withdrawing from other people so that you know what energy is what. And I have a spirit guide candle on my altar that is going absolutely crazy right now that I can see. And this is a very strong confirmation. You are mastering aspects of your gifts, aspects of your own mind. Do not allow other people to come in and take the power that you have over your own mind. Don't be afraid to withdraw or to cut off certain people or certain relationships if you need to. Because I had to walk away from people who were very, very, very toxic for me. it was not easy for me to do, but it is something that I will share when I feel called to share, such as right now, because it is a piece of wisdom that has to do with a gift that you have awakening. Now, my story is not necessarily going to be what you are going through, but that is a piece of advice from your guides right now, is make sure that you withdraw. That is something that as a kid you didn't know. You, like, other people told you this is what the truth is, this is what the truth is, and so because of that, you believed that that is what the truth was. And it's not your fault. Like, you didn't do anything wrong, but other people can have their own mentality, they can have their own beliefs. You are the one that decides what your beliefs are, and that is based off of the communication that you hold with your own heart, with your own guides, with your own soul, with you and your team and your God or your spirit or whoever you see as your higher power. They may all be the same higher power, but it is your connection to it, your relationship to it. I would prefer you speaking to your God first and foremost. Even if your God is my God and my God is your God. I think you understand the difference that I am meaning. It's about the communication style. You do it in a different way than I do. That is, wow, that was a very strong message. So we have the card 40 with building and atoms. The card 25, speaking your word and voice. Yeah, this is a very strong, like, share wisdom, speak your word and your voice. You know, even the Ace of Swords, you've got the communicate card here. This is all very, very, very much about the power of your own voice. And I am not at all surprised to see this, because I have said this. This has popped out in every single one of the piles. This is a collective energy right now. And I am telling you, it is one of the most beautiful collective energies we have. Card 23, cleansing and storms. You cannot make this up, because it literally has come out for every single pile. There is this collective cleansing right now that we're all going through. I have felt it, and it's beautiful. And you know what? I pulled lemongrass and tangerine for you guys, which are both cleansing agents. They are cleansing essential oils. If you look up lemongrass, tangerine, sweet orange, any kind of citrus will have some sort of cleansing effect. This is literally like the storms of the past have now cleansed away so much, and it's time for you to build your new foundation, to build your future, to build upon your gifts and speak your truth into existence. Use your voice, speak out. For this pile in particular, you have been working on this self-mastery for a very long time. And now it's time for you to fully embrace your gifts. Okay. This is going to be very strange because you're the only pile I feel called to do this. And I just don't know these cards very well because I just got them in the mail. But I have these Dream Decoder cards. And they just came in the mail. And I've done some shuffling with them. But Spirit wants me to just pull a card. We're not going to decode the dream itself. Because I don't feel like this has so much to do with dreams. But I feel like there's something more in here especially for this building. It's kind of like, what do you mean building? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I knew what this was already, but this one is very interesting. So, this one is paralysis, and I am somebody who I'm not even going to lie, I have sleep paralysis from time to time. It's never an enjoyable thing. When I was first learning it, it was very scary. But if you look at the way that this goes, it literally looks like the swirls around. This is literally saying that you're the only one that is keeping you stuck. You keep yourself stuck on this one, because you're not invisible. But you think that you're invisible, and that is what gets you caught. You also get caught up in what you can't see. Not what you can see, but what you can't see. It's kind of like what you can't see, but you can hear, you can feel, you can interact with, has you all twisted up, or it used to have you twisted up, and it's starting to unravel now. And this reading is helping that unraveling, because it's time for you to really allow yourself to know that there is so much into the invisible world. Some of you are also astral travelers. Wow. Yeah. Getting a lot of downloads in your energy field. Wow. These cards just, holy cow, they really just blow open your mind. Wow. Do you guys have the book by Ralph? I think it's Ralph Ellison, called Invisible Man. If you do, open up to page 263 and read something on it. That's so specific. I am going to do that after this because I'm really curious. I'm really curious, but I quite literally just saw the book and then saw the page number. So unless you're reading it, if you're reading it and that's the page number you're on, please tell me, because that would be really cool, because I've never had I have had my psychic gifts be that accurate, but it would still be pretty cool. Anyway, don't feel as though you're caught up in something that you can't get yourself out of. What you're in the middle of is a deep, deep, deep cleansing, like down to the building blocks of what make you you. So that's what those atoms is. It's cleansing you all the way down to your root. It's cleansing you all the way to your core being, to your soul, because it's time for your voice to be heard in the world. Whatever it is that you're doing, I have the feeling that you guys are my content creators, my psychics, my intuitives, obviously. And I say obviously, but maybe it's not for all of you, but you are those. Whatever it feels like you've been stuck on as far as being seen in the world, you're not invisible. You're being seen. Everything is being cleansed away to break you free of this paralysis state. So remember that you are the one that you need to trust, the first, foremost, and always, above and beyond anybody else, including me. I'm here to bring messages forth, but if they don't resonate, if they don't make you feel good, walk away. It's either not the time for you, not the message for you, or it's just, I don't know. It's one of those two, or you're not ready to hear it quite yet. Just something. But don't be afraid to walk away from what you need to walk away from. Don't be afraid to embrace what you want to embrace. There's nothing you have left to fear, because you have transmuted that fear. All of those illusions that people said, oh, you're making things up, oh, that's just crazy talk, blah, 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 whatever, that you came from your youth, your childhood, those early years, between the ages of 7 and 9, or 6 and 9 even. Anything from that time frame, you're being broken free from that so that you can build your life and your voice, and you share your wisdom, share your insights, share your understanding through what you have learned. Sometimes withdrawing is what you need to do. Sometimes after you're done withdrawing, sometimes it's just withdrawing mentally or emotionally from a situation or from people or a group of people or a person or something that just isn't suiting you. The more that you get in touch with your emotions, just like the King of Cups, he knows his emotions, but his emotions do not control him. So he is able to recognize emotional manipulation from other people as well. And that doesn't get into his head because he understands and he knows. You're learning these things. And the more that you step into that power that you have within you, the less anybody can ever tell you what is and is not right for you. The less anybody else's messages will even come close to being something that applies to you anymore, because you transcend it and then you become the messenger. And that's okay. It's okay to transition into being the messenger, because that means that you bring forth your own messages for you as well. Don't stay trapped in this belief that you're invisible, because it's just not the case. Because if spirit sees you and I can read your energy, then I can see you, and then the whole world is meant to see you. They're meant to hear you because you have something to share. Whether that is singing, whether that is speaking, whether that is writing, whatever communicative style you have that's awakening, in whatever way, it is meant for the world. You are meant for the world. And the world is waiting. Pile number 4. This was intense and amazing and awe-inspiring, and all the adjectives and adverbs you can possibly imagine and pin on to what you are and how this reading was. It was. So thank you so very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for enduring and transitioning and changing and breaking free from the mental constructs of other people and of your past. Thank you. I want to say thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection. Thank you to your younger self for stepping forward with these amazing messages. And thank you so much to Spirit. It always fills me with such deep gratitude and happiness to be here and to share these messages, and to know that I am going to reach people that need to know that they are not alone in the world, and that I am able to show them what I had to learn for myself as well. That we are never alone. There is magic and love all around us. Thank you for allowing me to be your mouthpiece here today. Pile 4. If this video resonated, go ahead, hit the like button, share it out, share it on your social media, and get these messages and this love out there, but also show the world how freaking awesome you are, because seriously. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. I want to make sure that you get notified for all my upcoming videos so you don't miss out on them. And let me know down in the comments how this resonated, if this resonated, what you are here to share, what you're doing. I am curious, I am interested, I want to know, and I want to hear from you. Down in the description box, there are links to my author page on Amazon. You will be able to find all 5 of my books and the Future Neptune Retrograde Guidebook as soon as I get it done within the next couple of weeks. Will be available on there as well. And don't forget to check out the links below that for my Breaking Boundaries, Finding Freedom program, as well as links to donate to my channel, which thank you so much to everybody who donates, and links to book a personal reading. That is the only link to book a personal reading with me, so don't get scammed by anybody else. All right, pile number 4. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you again. I am honored. I am blessed. And you are amazing. I will see you guys all next time. I love you all. Bye.